An ICE detention facility in Arizona is under scrutiny after it appears they moved immigrant detainees out of it just before lawmakers were scheduled to come and visit. According to new reporting from the Arizona Mirror, lawmakers Greg Stanton and Yasmin Ansari conducted an oversight visit to a facility in Mesa, Arizona, after giving DHS 7 days of advanced warning that they planned to come. When they arrived, the facility was well under its capacity of 157 detainees. But before and after their visit, the facility exceeded that number. Joining us now, Arizona Mirror reporter Jared McDonald-Evoy. Jared, it's good to have you on the show. So tell me about what you've learned about this facility and its capacity, but I also want your thoughts on what these lawmakers essentially experienced here, or may have experienced, because correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the whole reason that lawmakers wanted to be able to do oversight at last minute's notice as a surprise, because they were concerned shifts like this would happen.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Yeah, this facility called the Arizona Removal Operations Coordination Center, it acts as kind of the main hub for ICE's air operations. And what we've learned is that in the beginning of this year, it's been very overcrowded. This comes from data that has been released by ICE through Freedom of Information Act lawsuits that have been conducted by UCLA and others and other attorneys associated with those groups that have forced ICE to release their own detention data. And that data shows that this facility has been operating well above the stated capacity of that facility, which is 157 people, at times reaching, sometimes the daily population reached up to nearly 800 people.
So these lawmakers then went back and did do a surprise visit. And what did they find out?
Correct. Last night, Stanton and Ansari, along with Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, visited the facility. They did a surprise visit instead of giving the 7-day notice. And what they found was that the facility was also overcrowded last night. There were about 250 people there last night in the 6 different holding cells that are in the facility. Those holding cells had listed capacities of around 21 to 24 people, and they counted, by their count, around 40 to 49 people per cell that they could count. And they said that the people were in there, quote, like sardines, laying on concrete floor side by side, sometimes on top of each other. And this overcrowding was causing people to feel sick, feel hot in their rooms, and they were asking the lawmakers for help when they came in.
I want to get a sense of what the administration may have told you and your team in response to this, because, I think when people read a report or they hear that just by coincidence, during the very period that 2 lawmakers wanted to come and do their oversight duties, this facility just happened to manage to get its population under control for that exact period. It goes right up right after the visit is over. It makes them wonder if it really is a coincidence. And I'm curious what you've heard from the White House and what you think these lawmakers believe happened.
Well, when I reached out to ICE itself, they said that they try to coordinate these visits with, quote, lower operational times with their facilities. So they somewhat admitted that they try to have these visits happen when there's lower numbers at their facilities. However, there's been other incidents in other states, Minnesota, California. I believe there was also one in Baltimore where lawmakers showed up at these facilities and there were no people present. There was reporting by another outlet that found that in the people at a Baltimore facility were transferred to Arizona ahead of an oversight visit there. So it could be coincidence, as one attorney told me, but it is starting to not look that way when you start looking at the data.
As a reporter, certainly sounds like a pattern here. Jared McDonald-Evoy, thank you so much for your great reporting.